Okay. So now, yeah, we were talking about submitting the form. So here, ng submit equal to some function name which we have to create in our TS file. Let's say on submit. So this is the same that we had for template driven.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have to go to our TS file and create a function called on submit. And for now, what I'll do is console.log this dot signup form. Now run server and check whether your form is getting created or printed or not in your console.
Value what you have provided in TS file.
You have not entered any value. So that is by default it is coming. If you directly click on submit, it will take the default values, which is null, null, and mail. If you write something in your form and then click on submit, it will take the values that you have entered.
Ma'am, here, where should I found that form tag in console?
Yes, go to console and then the same thing, the same way you had form group for ng form for template driven, you will have form group for this one. And in that form group, you will have value.
But here I cannot find the form group, basically. I can directly.
You click on submit.
Yeah, I have clicked on submit, and the values I have given that are also coming, but I'm just searching for the form group directly coming.
No, no, no.
Okay, fine. Okay.
The entire
Okay.
form is your form group.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, in the previous thing,
Mm-hmm.
that from group was different tag over there, right?
Here
Name.
it's that was different. Here it's different. Here it's the form group itself which you see.
Yeah, it's the total. Yeah.
There you used to get ng form in the console. Here it's
Yeah. Okay.
okay. Ng form encloses form group. So there in ng form group was a part of your ng form.
Yeah.
Here it's the entire new thing.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so we are successfully submitting the form. Now let's add validation. So previously for template driven, we saw that in component.html we add required over here and it used to work. Here if you add required, it will not work. Okay, because this is reactive approach, all the changes has to be made in this form itself, in this form group itself. So the second parameter, if you remember, the second argument of form control is our validator. If it's one validator, it can be a normal validator, or else it can be array of validators as well. Let's see how. So here it would be validators dot required. Obviously, you will have to import validators. Okay. Now for email, I want to pass two validators or two validations I want on email field. One, it should be required. So that is why I'll have an array over here now. Validators dot required, comma, validators dot email. Okay. Similarly for gender also, if you want, you can add validators dot required. Validators dot required. So likewise, any other validation if you want, you can add it here itself. There are various different validates, and these are all functions by the way. But we don't call the function, we just name it, and they will perform the operations present inside it. Okay. Again, if you have multiple validations to be applied, it has to be passed as an array.
Okay.
Now, if you run server, you will see that these validations are applied. How will you find that out? Using the property valid invalid in your console. ng invalid will be ng invalid class will be added to your HTML. Also, if you go to your console and check the form, invalid will be set as true and valid will be set as false.
Valid is true for email. And status is invalid. Validator में और एक property है similar to as max length. So if I need to give that,
you can provide that over here as validation.
So maximum length हमको कुछ input हम कैसे पास करेंगे? Maximum length should
within brackets you can pass.
Ma'am, why it's saying status is invalid? Invalid is false.
No, if invalid is false, that means you have submitted proper values.
And but it's saying status is invalid. Why status is invalid?
I'm sorry?
And it's saying status is invalid.
Status is invalid because your form is not valid.
Form is not valid. Why?
There has to be some invalid value that you have provided.
No, that invalid tag is false, but the status tag is invalid, and that's my that's the thing I am asking.
That shouldn't be the case. Can you share your screen?
Hmm. Yeah, certainly. Can you see it, ma'am?
Yeah, just a minute. Can you scroll down your console? Console. Yeah, that was for previous form group, Abhijit. The latest submit is below. Yeah, this form group is the latest one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Here the status is valid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yes?
और इंसान की इनपुट ही इंपोर्ट जाता है जो फेस्टिवल
Like errors and warnings, right? That we have not added yet.
I cannot enter more than 4 digits.
So in that case, you can disable your submit. If it's invalid, disable your submit and give the error message over. Even in HTML, even in template driven, you can have max length is equal to or min length is equal to and some number.
Max length bracket to 4 दिया है also.
See here, if this is reactive approach, you will write it something like this. Write it here because it should be inside. Validators dot max length. Let's say 5. Okay, if I'm writing it here, I'll write it like this. It doesn't make sense to write it inside email, so I'll remove it. Okay. If let's say I'm writing in template driven approach, then in HTML itself, you can simply write 5 or 4 or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now how to access the control? Go to your app.component.html and here below the username, create a span. Not sign up form dot. Here I cannot say sign up form dot valid or dot touch directly. I'll have to use this function called get. This is a helper function called get, and inside get, let's say username. So for this control, valid.
Okay. Here we cannot directly access those valid in or touch property.
Yeah, we cannot. Okay, and only valid is not enough. It should be. We should check touched also. So again, sign up form dot get username dot touch. If this is there, and let's say the class is else block. I want it to display please enter a valid name. Okay. So only when the username is invalid and the username is touched, then it will display this, please enter a valid name.
And ma'am, if we wanted to mark that is as red, then
Yeah, if you want to mark it as red, the same way that you did there, because here also the class is getting added, right? So let's say for input, the invalid, the touched.
okay, here the ng invalid and ng touched can be accessed for
Yeah,
CSS.
yeah. These classes are getting added on its own by Angular to our HTML. So these classes can be used. But classes like this property where you have to check whether it's valid or not or touched or not, that for that you cannot use the property directly.
Okay. Can you show? Okay, fine. Let it.
Do the same
Let me
for,
write it.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Let me write it down.
Sure,
Just a moment.
sure.
Can you show the CSS file once?
Sure.
This message didn't change. The message didn't change.
Even when we are giving invalid values.
अच्छा लेकिन कितने यार not equal to zero. You will not sign up for zero. No, not right. This is not right. वो टेस्ट को चेक करते ना वो जो है
Can you show the HTML page once?
Yeah.
Before we were not writing anything explicitly, we just mentioned required. Then we used to check something. But here we have to write a script like get username.
No, there also we were writing this, right? This help block. Today only we saw. This we were writing, but all these things we could simply say required and then write it. This is extra. We cannot access this directly. We have to check.
Directly property name dot used to get that.
That. Okay. Now add the same thing for email. Got it?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, ma'am. Is it working fine for them? Because I'm not getting the.
When you click on any of the fields and without writing anything you come out, it should give you an error over there.
If you click on submit button, it's not showing. The message is not. What's the reason for that?
What?
When I am directly means after loading, if I directly click on the button, then the message is not.
Yeah, it's not touched, right? I've written and over here, so that is why.
Okay.
So ideally, maybe after this session, you disable the submit button. Unless and until the entire form is valid, you should not be able to submit.
Okay.
Okay, now add the same thing for email as well.
Yes, ma'am, added.
Okay, fine. Now let's see how to create custom validators. So in our app.component.txt, below this I'll declare another property let's say I'm naming it again. You can name it anything. I am naming it as forbidden username. So basically, I am putting a validation that I'll give a list of names over here. And if a user gives a name which is present in this, then that would be considered as invalid. Okay. So let's say the names are ABC and XYZ. So if you enter ABC and XYZ, it should tell you that please enter a valid username. And make sure that this is capital A. So if you write small ABC, it will not match it. Okay. Now what I'll do is, here I will have to create. So all these validators that I'm adding, required, email, I told you that these are all functions. So validators at the end of the day are functions. So again, for this also, I will have to create a function. So let's say I'm giving this as forbidden name. My function name is forbidden name. Okay. Now this will take few arguments. The first, this one. Okay. So a variable called control of type form control, and this should be of type so basically whatever this returns, okay, it would be of type boolean. This should also be of type boolean, which means like here my form control, let's say, is forbidden username. So it would be forbidden username colon true or false. And
This
that
thing
true
I
or
didn't
false.
get. Repeat
Yeah,
once.
I'll explain. See, this is my form control, correct? So let's say it's this username. In this case, it would be forbidden username or whatever, colon, and this end would be the string that the user is giving. Okay, that would be either true or false. Whatever value it is, it would finally be username colon true or false. So based on this, it will determine whether it's forbidden or what.
Username colon true or false.
Yeah, it would something be on it of that type.
Okay. Is this the return type or?
No, this is not return type. This is a parameter.
So here, receiving a string and then we are converting it to boolean.
Ah.
And then we are comparing the data type of control of control.
Okay, so if this dot the name or I'll explain this. Just let me write it. So if you notice, just a minute. I think there is a colon missing somewhere. Can you just check it? The colon, not colon. Some brackets are extra. I think. Just execute this and see if it's throwing some error or how is it.
Yes.
It's there.
Something is there.
Just check Wait, I think I missed one bracket somewhere.
Next, you need to put this into one bracket entirely. This forbidden name, that argument is there. You need to put that into.
Is it throwing an error?
Uh, an index signature parameter must be a string or a number. 32, 14. Yes.
No, that has to be string. What have you given? Capital small s. No error, right? That's fine. Okay, I was just worried about the number of brackets. It's fine then. It's fine. Okay, so let me explain this. Now here I'm checking if the username, that means whatever username is being given, if that is a part of, when I say index of, it's basically checking whether it's a part of this or not. If it's an index, there would be a value of it. If there is no index, the value would be -1. If that is not equal to -1, that means if there is actual value, okay, then you should return name is forbidden as true. This is just some variable that I've defined over here from object. If it's not, we should not return name as forbidden as false. You return null. Always remember this. Don't return name is forbidden as false over here. Always return null.
Why, ma'am?
See, when it's not present, as in when it's not forbidden, there is no need for this.
Okay, yeah.
So this validation should not return anything in that case. Same happens with these also. Only when your validation fails, it returns something. If you have given proper value, proper input, these functions doesn't return anything. It returns null. Okay.
Okay, so at the time of calling, return type could be either true or null.
Yes.
There should not be any false.
Correct. Now that my validation is ready, I want to add it to the username. Since I already have one, I have to add it as a array. Correct? And now here, how do you add it? All you have to do is this dot forbidden names, the function that I've just created. Okay. Now, if you execute it right now, it will throw you an error because you have to bind. The reason is, if you just execute it right now, forget about this. If you execute it like this, it is calling this function. It is going here. But this line will throw an error because what is this? The present reference of the class, right? But this validation is checked by Angular after the form is submitted or after I have rendered this. So there is no value for this that Angular can find. So it will throw you an error. Okay. So that is why you have to add this bind over here in order to pass some value to that this. Now it will not show an error.
You can explain that syntax forbidden names, control form, control string.
So this is my function. Okay. It takes an argument of control type. Now the argument that it takes, okay, this should be of type this. True or false. Ultimately Boolean. It's a validator, right? So validator should be either true or false. Based on that, you're checking if the username that the user has given falls in this value. Okay. You're saying use forbidden username dot index of, that means array index. In array, you're checking the index of the value that user has given. Control dot value is the value that user has provided. Now, if that value has an index in this array, that means it is not equal to -1. Not equal to -1 means it is present. In that case, name is forbidden becomes true.
Well, ma'am, still I have some confusion over here.
Okay.
The things like when we're calling this function is for forbidden names. So for forbidden name, which are the parameter we are passing?
The username.
Bind this.
You are passing the entire control username. All the properties.
Passing all the control. Yeah, for that reason, this control colon form control, it's fine. But I'm still confusing with this thing that why we are putting a string boolean.
See, whenever you have a validator, you basically check whether the condition is true or false, correct?
Yes.
So that validator should always be of type boolean.
Okay.
Run server and check if it's working. Enter either ABC or XYZ as your name. It should say that it's invalid.
Exactly, you have to interact with.
Yeah, exact has to.
Please enter a valid name.
Yeah.
Bind this generally passes a default value to these functions which we have defined below.
Now, is this done?
No, ma'am. I'm getting some error.
Okay.
I'm getting error like something semicolon is expected at the line of 29, but in 29 that is written null, and I have given the semicolon as well.
Just check everything properly. You must have missed something over here.
valid है ना वो valid even जो बोल रहा है वो valid होना चाहिए email है कि हम लोग email से valid
So can you please see it once to the same screen?
Sure. The spelling of form control is wrong. In your forbidden names, control, form control. CONTROL, TRON. Yes. And it's not double equal to -1. One more
Not
equal.
equal to -1, na?
One more equal to.
One more equal to need to give.
We use triple equal to, or yeah, this is fine.
Oh.
And yeah, this is fine. You can check. Okay, go back. Just a minute. The spelling of return on line number 29 is wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, in Angular, which is the ID generally used? Means basically, is there any ID from where we can check it that is there anything wrong we have put it itself or not?
No, I mean,
Item is
you can use Atom if you want.
okay. So library functions, does it show those library functions, library words?
I am not
That
sure if it does. Maybe it does. I used it long back. I don't remember whether it does or not. You can search for it. You'll find different IDs.
okay.
Okay. Now when you run server, even if you give ABC, it says valid enter a valid username. But it should be different. Like for validators required, the error message should be different. For this forbidden, the error message should be different, right? So how to give different error message for different validators, that we'll see now. So
Okay.
we use Engage. So go to app component.html. Okay.
It's
No, let's remove this. Let's say we don't need it. Remove it. Or let it be. Okay, we'll create another span over here. Remove this please enter a validity. I don't want to change this. Instead, I will create another span. And here I'll say MGA. In fact, this has to be there because if it's valid, not valid and touched, then check for which validation was it. So LG if sign up form.get. Okay. When you run the server, before writing this, when you run the server and if there's an error, if you go to your form group, your um, controls, you'll find something known as error over there, a property called error,
yeah.
right? So the value of that error property will be different for both,
Yeah.
right? When you are using this name is forbidden, it would be user data dot username dot errors, and this would be name is forbidden, right? Is it this error?
Name is forbidden, colon true.
So property name is this, right? So if this is the error, then I wanted to print this name is forbidden. For required, it would be required.
What is the user data?
How is it getting saved there?
Huh.
Inside user data only, right? That is why user data. Please enter a value. Run submit. Does it come like this?
Nevertheless, cannot read property errors. What is property errors of null? There we have to give that string, right? Whatever we have put in the error message in that forbidden names function name.
No. What comes in the error in your?
It comes name is forbidden. That entire string was name.
So that is why I've written name is forbidden.
So cannot read property errors of null.
Show me. We remove the gender. Why is it not coming? Can I see it once?
So, when we are doing initially, error's name is forbidden to. I'll save this one.
Wait, no need to even submit. Okay.
इसको कट करवा दो इतना तो देता ये वाला इसको छोड़ के देता उनके वहाँ आ रहा है इतना गड़बड़ कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पर डाल दीजिए लिखा है ना
Can you show me the error that you get?
ठीक है
Not the error. That errors. Now submit.
last question. Nothing else, right? Submit करेंगे।
I'm getting some error.
Just a minute.
Form control given password based on computer.com. That is the information.
Okay. So see, first of all, you don't have user data over here. So just write username. Okay. Change this to just username. Okay, errors is present in username. Also, I just checked this is with space, right? This is the error that comes. So save it like this. Now it should work. The radio button is still not coming.
Close this back because similar we need to change in TS color.
No.
Name is formatted.
No.
So TS में क्या वही यहाँ
What have you given in TX?
name is formatted with spaces.
With spaces. Whatever you've given in the .ts file should be present here.
Yeah, if you make a change here, that should be same as that. Okay. As TS.
See, I gave that because in my TS I have not given spaces. I had given it like this. So for me, this should be without spaces. But if yours is with space, give it with space. If it's without space, since it's a property, it's better not to have spaces.
Actually,
Only one topic is left though, asynchronous validator. Abhijit, are you getting the output? Hello?
Hello. No, ma'am.
Yeah, Abhijit, are you getting the
Yes.
output?
Yes, I am getting that.
Okay. So the last topic of forms is left, which is creating a custom async validator. I told you that the third argument which we can pass here is the async validator. Okay. Now, how many of you remember for asynchronous task we use promise, observable? Okay. So here also for async validator we will be using the same thing. Okay. So the first thing that you will have to do is import observable.
Now, what's the utilization of using the async validator?
So at times your validation can be asynchronous as well. It's not mandatory that you have asynchronous validation, but if at all you need, you can have. Okay. Once you have imported this,
One minute, ma'am.
yeah, sure.
Observable from RX. Okay.
Okay. Now after this forbidden name function, we will add another function called forbidden email. Now this we want to make asynchronous. This validation should be asynchronous. Again the same thing, control, form control. But this time the type would be a promise. So it returns promise. Promise can be of any type. Either a promise or observable. This we had discussed, if you remember. Promise or observable.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I say one thing? That
Yeah.
is, there's a thing I was asking at that time, that after colon, whatever we are saying, means previously it was string boolean, now we are giving promise. So this promise, it is the return type, right? Return type
Yes,
means
this function will return that.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Okay.
I thought that was parameter.
No, that was parameter is control.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. Now, yeah. So here I will create a promise. Type any. Be careful about the syntax. Here I'm checking if control.value equal to let's say best@best.com. So since we're using promise, instead of return, I will have resolve. More or less the same. The logic part is the same. Okay, the set timeout is this much. Can change it. Milliseconds.
Whenever we use promise, why should we use the set timeout?
So after this much time, it will return or resolve the email is forbidden. The reason why I have put this, I will show when I run server.
Okay.
So promise also we need to import, right?
Abhijit, I've sent you the
Yes. Yes.
thing, code via chat.
Mm.
Promise you will not, you don't have to import. So if you've written this, Abhijit,
Yes.
have you written it?
Yeah. Okay.
Now I have to add this to my email. Now remember, I don't add it to this validation array. This is the third parameter. This can also be an array in itself. Asynchronous validator. If you have multiple asynchronous validators, you can have an array of it. Right now, since I don't, I just have one. Again, this dot this email and
But we can write it inside that as well. Validator dot required, validator dot.
no. If you write it inside this, it will be like a normal validator. But I want it to be asynchronous. I'm using promise and observable. I cannot write it here. You have to write it as a third parameter. Third parameter is for asynchronous validator, async validator. Now run server and don't do anything. Just let me know if it's successfully compiling without any error.
One.
Showing some error. Alright. Sure.
Return the promise.
Now I'm giving email ID, run server, give your email ID as test@test.com. The same email ID that you have mentioned to be the error, forbidden. Okay, just keep looking here. Right now it's invalid. Oh, just a minute.
Ma'am, can you please respond?
Just 1 minute, Avijit. Just 1 minute. Yeah. As soon as I start writing here, this changes, right? Now keep looking at this form and we continue. Right now, everything is it's invalid.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pending.
It's pending.
Okay, so it goes to the pending state, then becomes invalid. So it's NG valid, pending, and then invalid.
Pending is checking this.
It's checking this promise. Yes, Avijit, you were asking something?
Could you please scroll down the page once? This one?
You want me to scroll this down?
Yeah. Just a minute.
Avijit, run server.
Yes, ma'am. Just running it.
And inspect your email field.
वैलिड हो गया ना
Right now it's invalid, right?
Just a minute, ma'am. There is.
Or you share your screen. I will show it to you there.
पूरा नहीं लिखा है उससे वो वैलिड है प्रॉमिस चेक करना प्रॉमिस पे ट्रू है कोई फॉल्स है उससे वो वैलिड हो सकता है
I think.
वैलिड हो गया
Would it be observable small o because?
No, it would be capital.
True.
Have you imported it properly? Capital O. Import observable capital O. Yeah. Now.
Actually, ma'am, though it's saying that it's compiled successfully, but sometimes what happens that after that, whenever I'm going to build, it's giving some kind of error.
Okay.
So that's why to reconfirm, I need. Yeah.
Inset time out also O. O should be small. It shouldn't be capital. It should be small.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. Can you give me remote control? I have sent you a request.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I inspect this email field, okay,
Okay.
go to elements. Okay, just see here, it's ng invalid as of now, right?
Yes.
I will start writing here. Keep looking there at ng invalid. It became pending, right?
Yes.
And then it said valid. Now it's valid, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Now keep looking at ng valid. It will again go to pending and then go to invalid. Right? That is because of your promise.
Okay. Now why is this ng invalid? Means like.
Because it's forbidden, right? It's the same email ID that we have given in our forbidden email.
True.
So
Okay.
it's taking its time. It goes to from invalid, it goes to pending, then to valid, then again to pending, then to invalid.
Okay. So promise is working runtime basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can stop sharing it. So this was all about forms. Too much information in a day. So practice it. And if you have any doubt, we will discuss it in the next class. Okay. And in the next class, most probably we will start with Python.
Sunday we will be.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
I think that next week I'll not be available.
Both Saturday, Sunday?
I think so because I'll be out of station probably.
Okay.
That's the thing. Anyway, if the class is there, then I'll get the recorded session.
Yeah, recorded sessions will be provided.
Okay, ma'am.